This is the 8BitDo N Edition keyboard and mouse. Retro on the outside, surprisingly modern underneath. They're styled after the original NES, that iconic grey and red combo, blocky lines, and just enough detail to hit you right in the nostalgia. But what impressed me the most isn't actually the design, it's how premium they feel. These products seem to punch well above their price. Let's take a closer look. And I bought these products with my own money, and this is my unbiased review. I love how the packaging is super simple, yet premium and informative. And opening up the keyboard box, we find, unsurprisingly, a keyboard. Underneath, we have a non-braided cable for wired use and charging. And we have one of my favourite features of this keyboard, these big red buttons, aka the dual super buttons. And you can map these to any key or function, though I've never actually mapped them and mostly just pressed them because it's fun. Anyway, next we have a super informative instruction manual. And underneath that, we have a useful info card and stickers. Take some notes, Apple. And that's it for the box. The unboxing experience definitely feels suitably premium for the price point. And now taking a look at the keyboard itself, wow. The design really is amazing. The colours are vibrant, it has a strong nostalgic vibe, and it feels high quality. Now on the underside of the keyboard, we have rubber feet in the corners, and these metallic flick out feet, which are magnetised to stay out or stay in. A nice touch. Also on the underside, we have the 2.4G dongle. It looks really cool with this brick design paying homage to a certain Italian. And it also has a magnet to hold it in place. On the back side, we have the Type-C port for wired use and charging, and these ABXY aux ports for accessories. And this is one of the features that's emphasised a lot on the website. You can plug in buttons or joysticks. And if you get the smaller version of the keyboard without the numpad, there's a calculator numpad with an LCD panel available. On the top side, we have two dials, one for connectivity modes, and the next one for your volume. Next to those dials, we have three buttons, Bluetooth pairing, key mapping, and profile selector. On the other side of the keyboard, we have some status LEDs, the usual num lock, caps lock, and scroll lock indicators, and finally, a power indicator on the far right side, which is a small thing, but I really like how it blends with the rest of the design, though it would have been nice to see a square LED like on the actual NES. And the final extra feature to talk about are these two keys, B and A. These are similar to the super buttons in that you can map them to any key or function. Now, to the actual keys themselves. The switches sound really good, and they aren't linear, which gives them a nice, clicky feel to push. And this keyboard does come in other colorways. The larger model, which includes the numpad, only has two colors, the NES and Famicom inspired versions. And the smaller keyboard has four colorways, an NES, Famicom, Commodore 64, and IBM inspired version. And it also has two licensed exclusives, the Xbox edition, inspired by the first Xbox, and the Mecha Break edition. Now, let's move on to the R8 mouse. And inside, we are greeted with another box. Underneath, we have the charging dock and mouse itself. Starting with this small box, we have a little baggie and a very nice braided USB-C to A cable. However, I will say this cable doesn't feel massively premium, but that does mean it doesn't get in the way of functionality like a stiffer cable would. Inside the baggie, we find a spare set of skates and the instruction manual. Now, the mouse itself looks and feels amazing. On the underside, we have this card with diagrams to help you through the first use. And all of the buttons feel very responsive and clicky. And the design is very ergonomic. Being completely symmetrical, it makes the mouse super accessible to both right-hand and left-handed users. We have 4 programmable buttons total, 2 on each side. The scroll wheel feels pretty good, but possibly a bit heavy, but this is more of a preference issue. And the scroll wheel has got a middle mouse button, which is easy enough to press comfortably without being too sensitive or too tough. And behind the scroll wheel, we have the DPI switcher with 6 modes, which are customizable in the software, and we'll discuss that later. For me, the placement of these 4 red buttons is perfect. I can access the left side with the tip and joint of my thumb, and the right side with my ring finger and pinky. Though I have to say in use they do feel a bit too difficult to push due to their inset design, meaning you do experience a bit of wobble if you push them whilst moving the mouse. Stationary though, they feel perfect. Coming back to the underside of the mouse, once the card's removed, we can see the connectivity switch and the pair button. Flick this switch to Bluetooth and press the pair button to use Bluetooth. Flick the switch to off and plug the wired mouse into your computer to use wired connectivity, and then flick it to 2.4G to use the dongle. The dongle itself is just here, very discreetly placed in a magnetized cavity, though I will say it does take some nails to get out of there. The mouse features a polling rate of 250 to 8000 Hz when wired, 250 to 4000 Hz when using the dongle, and 125 Hz on Bluetooth. I'm not sure about the response time, but it feels speedy enough for general use and the games I play. However, I don't play fast-paced competitive games, so I can't share my thoughts on that. Moving on to the charging dock, this feels suitably weighty and it has a rubber foot on the underside to make sure it doesn't slip around. And although the design is simple, I really like how it looks. On the front side, we have a USB-C port to plug into your computer, and on the top side we have a Type A port. The mouse and dock are magnetized, so putting the mouse on is super easy, and I love how the design flows from the mouse to the dock. It really looks amazing. The mouse has 100 hours battery in Bluetooth and 25 hours in 2.4G mode, but if you put your mouse on the dock after every use, you might as well have the infinite lifespan of a wired mouse in a wireless form factor. And getting started is as easy as pulling the mouse off of the dock. The mouse only has two colorways at the moment, the N edition here and the Xbox edition. But I'd love to see the other colorways on this mouse too. Now moving on to software, 8BitDo also offer a free software for customizing your accessories, the Ultimate Software V2. Here, you can update your devices to the latest firmware, create multiple profiles with custom key mapping and macros, and fine-tune your kit to how you like it. For the keyboard, we can change the function of almost every single key. We also have these switches on the left side where we can disable the Windows key, Alt plus Tab, and Alt F4. There's also the ability to customize the super buttons here, allowing us to set single functions or macros. And the next page is the macros interface, and after that, a volume dial sensitivity slider with 5 options. For the mouse, we can also set multiple profiles and change the functionality of every button apart from the left click and DPI switcher. Great! On the next page, we have the macros interface, and then the DPI settings page. This allows you to set the sensitivity for all of those options on the mouse. And finally, you can customize the performance of your mouse to your preferences right here. So with all of that out of the way, are these 8BitDo peripherals worth the investment? Well, starting with the keyboard, it comes in around 120 US, 164 Canadian, or around 100 in the UK. But is it worth that price? Well, for me, I haven't regretted my purchase. I'm very pleased with the feel, the looks, and the functionality, and whatever you think you need is there on the keyboard itself or in the software. If I had to give any negatives at all about this keyboard, I would say that I've only seen it in the ANSI US layout with the shorter enter key. But even then, I got used to the layout very quickly, and I'm happy to switch between this and a UK layout keyboard. And it's also worth mentioning there is no RGB. It really would have been nice to see some white or red RGB for those late night gaming sessions. Overall, I recommend this keyboard highly. It has everything and more that you think or do actually need. Now moving on to the R8 mouse. It brings excellent value for money, coming in at just 50 US, around 68 Canadian, or 45 in the UK. And that is an amazing price for what you get. The build quality is great, it feels super lightweight but not fragile. It's functional, allowing you to reprogram everything on the mouse, and I love how the symmetrical design makes left-handed use easier than ever. And for what you get, I can definitely recommend this mouse for general use and for gaming. Both of these products present fun, high-quality options for peripherals, and they both impressed and continue to impress me with all of their gimmicks and style. If you would like to pick one of these up for yourself, there's Amazon links down in the description. And if you click on the link and buy anything, we'll earn a small commission without any extra cost to you. Thank you all very much for your support, your subscriptions, your likes, even your dislikes, and we'll see you again soon for some more geekery.